Well, hello everyone out there at Head Couch Football In. I am your host Sanders, and as normal, I am joined by Pardue over here. So normally I would ask you how you're doing, how you feel about your team, but your team didn't play this weekend. That's not a diss. It's just what happened. So I'm going to skip that part, and we're going to go to me.
Your team didn't play this weekend either, really, if we're being honest.
Damn, he went hard. So I was going to say talk about how I was super disappointed that my defense held the top flight Bills to 10 points, and we couldn't beat 10 points, but you just went harder and said they just didn't play. Oh, man.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad because even you just said you were like, that's not a diss, and then I came in with, some heat.
Some heat, yeah.
I apologize.
The thing that makes me super sad about it, right, is I just think about, okay, if it wasn't a pick six, it'd be 10-10. And I just think to myself, I'm like, we were holding them. We could have held them one more. We could have gotten another field goal. We could have had a 13-10 win. It would have been ugly, but who cares? Who cares? You just move on to the next one. That's all that matters. But the pick six ended it. Lamar got a concussion. And yeah, shit happens.
Yeah, the second you have a 14-point swing like that in that situation, yeah, it's right when he picked that off, I was like, you just lost out on 7 points right there, and then on top of it, they got the pick six, and it turned into a 14-point swing, and at that point, I was like, yeah, you're not overcoming that.
So, one of my family members was watching with me. They'll tell you I was pretty calm the whole game. Even when the pick six happened, I was like, oh, wow. That was the only thing I said, right? And it was my grandmother who was with me. She's like, why aren't you yelling or anything? I'm like, because I expected us to lose. And they're like, yeah, but you're a fan. Shouldn't you be yelling? I'm like, no, because this is the outcome I expected. It's kind of happening in a disappointing way. Like, I wouldn't expect it to happen this way. Like, where we're just not doing anything on offense. But also, we made them not doing anything on offense. They scored 10 points. Right? Like, we held Josh Allen to 10 points. By the way, Pardue, they did it how they wanted them to. We had the lowest blitzing percentage of any game this year. And we held them to 10 points. That's what I wanted them to do. I wanted them to not blitz against Allen. And that's what they did. I'm happy that Don Martindale made some adjustments. Notice how I don't blame the defense at all, because they were the solution in this game. That game. I'm incredibly happy with how our defense played. Unfortunately, the takeaways from that game are what we already knew about Baltimore was they need an offense. When it comes to the passing game, they need a receiver who can be a go-to. They need to have someone more than Willie Snead, and Marquise Brown's a great, number two, but he's no number one. So they showed.
So basically, what you're saying, what I'm hearing is, Kyler Murray's better than Lamar Jackson.
Okay, well, you know what? If you want to say that, fine. I'm not getting into that argument. We've already had that discussion here before. But
no, I love Lamar. It's just, yeah, it was a rough game all around for the Ravens. So.
And the thing is, I actually don't blame Lamar for the game either, because more often than not, I don't think a pocket has collapsed around him quicker than it did in the Buffalo. Buffalo called a great game defensively. They adjusted from the first half, and in the second half, I think they blitzed. I think I read they said they blitzed 56% more of the time the second half than they did the first half. Like, they basically said, hey, our defensive backs, like Tre'Davious White, can cover the Ravens receivers one-on-one. Let's just send 5 or more almost every play. And that's what they did. And you saw how much Lamar was running back there. He got sacked, 3-4 times? Like,
he was getting abused.
They just Lamar was abused in the back all night. They called the great game plan. They're like, we know the receivers can't punish us for the blitz, so we're just going to blitz. That's what they did. So, yeah, Buffalo got a good game. I wasn't mad about it. We'll see how my team does in the offseason, the adjustments they make on offense. The only disappointing news I heard was that, not disappointing, they're keeping Greg Roman, but I love what Greg Roman has done for our running game. But we need to see something from the passing game, so I hope they enough to hire, like, hey, we're getting a quarterbacks coach that's also going to contribute to the passing game. Or, hey, we're hiring a passing game coordinator, right? Like, someone who can just design passing plays for, Greg Roman to call. Like, I don't mind that he's the play caller, but he needs to not be the one designing our passing plays. He has not done anything for Lamar in the passing game or the receivers. Like, I'm kind of done with that. So I hope they announce that they're doing something for the wide receivers, whether it's a move in free agency, a coaching move, whatever. Something needs to change, though. You can't have the 31st ranked passing game in the NFL and expect to win games. The reality is you still need to be able to throw the football at some point.
All right, so we're gonna mention our guest.
Yeah, I don't know if you had anything else to say on that. So that's how I'm feeling. I'm still feeling okay. I'm not mad. I look forward to having 3 more games of football. I'm excited for that. We have a guest that we had on the show. I would say I think it was in October is when we had him.
Yeah,
we have,
it was late October.
Yeah, we have local Arizona fan Tristan back with us. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great for a non-playoff team.
Pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's that trade for Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson going to work out for you guys? That's what I keep hearing from Cardinals fans.
No, you're hearing that from like a Cardinals fan, and we're all quote tweeting him telling him he's a fucking idiot. So,
what about local sports news? I bet you they've said something about it.
Oh yeah,
no, they have on radio for sure.
Yeah, it's fucking Doug from Doug and Wolf and fucking Ban Dickley, fucking idiot. They're awful, man. I don't even want to get into them.
Yeah, I've never.
There's a reason I've completely stopped listening to them and just have gone to Rich Eisen and Pat McAfee.
I told you, dude. I've been telling you for months now. Rich Eisen and Pat McAfee are the way. They truly are.
McAfee's amazing.
McAfee's a goat. He's hilarious too.
And the thing that's great about Rich Eisen is he's never. I feel like he never makes any wild takes. He just tells it as it is, and then gives his opinion. Right? Like sometimes his opinions are wrong. Right? Like, he has the first down, second down, third down, fourth down segment, and his hot takes are usually garbage. But he goes into the segment saying, hey, this is a hot take. It could work or it could not. So you can't hold it against him because he already knows it's a wild take, right? Like, I remember his hot take from, I think it was week 11 or week 10, when the Steelers were 10-0, and he said the Steelers would go 16-0.
Oh, God.
That was his.
I mean, it's a hot take for a reason. But
but that was his fourth down take, right? And of course, he has to have legitimate reasons to believe in it. And he's like, think about this. He's like, who are their toughest games left? He's like, Cleveland and Baltimore. Who else do they have, right? And he talked about, he's like, the Bills are going to be tough. I think they got that. Ravens are going to be tough, but they're struck by COVID, so they probably win that. He's like, Cincinnati, they've choked in these kind of games. They're going to beat Cincinnati. And then he's like, Bengals are an easy win. I forget who else he said was an easy win.
Washington,
he said, was an easy win. Yeah, all these teams that actually beat them. But when you're looking at it from back then at 10-0, right? Mm-hmm. And you look at those Washington back then and Cincinnati, you should be winning those games. So it wasn't out of the question back in week 10. Now it just looks like a freezing cold take. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, I guess if you're listening to this show, please keep listening to us. But Pat McAfee and Rich Eisen, they got our seal of approval. They're great. Speaking of talk shows and us, let's get to what we're supposed to be doing here, which is talking about the divisional round games and leading into the AFC and NFC championship. So we're going to do it like we did last week. We really like the format that we did. No one else really does it the way we did it, so I like that we have our own unique take on how to look at the game. So we're going to rank our teams based upon who we think is going to win the Super Bowl. Not by who we think is best, who we think is going to win the Super Bowl. Because honestly, it's quite possible that one of the teams on here, or maybe even two of the teams that are at 3-4, you could argue are more talented than the teams at 2-1. But it's just the way they gel, the way they play doesn't match their on-paper skill, if that makes sense. So, in the order of who we think is going to win the Super Bowl from the least amount of chances to win the Super Bowl to the greatest amount. At number 4, we have Tampa Bay. Now, before you get mad saying, hey, we're throwing Tampa Bay away, they're not winning the Super Bowl, the thing is they're still the 4th best team in the league, according to us right now. Right? And they're the 4th best team. They have a chance to win the Super Bowl. This is a team who has shown to be on fire at times. This is a team who stomped the hell out of Green Bay last time they played Green Bay, so it's not out of the question that they beat Green Bay again. And it's a team that has Tom Brady. At the end of the day, you can't count him out. He's without a doubt beat Father Time. At this point, there's jokes that he's going to play till 50, which isn't going to happen. But at this point, those jokes are kind of scary because at like 36, when he said, I'm going to play till 45, at 36, we were like, yeah, right, Tom, haha. Well, here he is. Literally 1 year.
43.
He's 1 year away from being able to do it, right? Because I think he turns 44 in just literally a month from now or something like that. So, yeah, he's doing it, and he's playing well. So who really knows how long Brady's going to be? At this point, just appreciate him till he retires. That's what I always say. Just appreciate him till he retires because you're never going to see this again. Even Drew Brees fell to Father Time this last weekend, right? So
I mean, it's been a lot longer than this last weekend, but
Philip Rivers, I mean, like, this is his final game, though, and it was very obvious. Philip Rivers just retired today. I mean, it's impossible.
Man, and like, I sent you this text earlier today because, like, it's not like I've ever really loved Philip Rivers or anything, but, like, it kind of just hit me that, like, all the players that I grew up watching, like Drew Brees, Philip Rivers, potentially Larry Fitzgerald, because that's kind of like what Cardinal fans were all waiting to hear. Yeah, Eli Manning. But that's kind of like what all Cardinal fans were waiting to hear today was Larry Fitzgerald's retirement, because that's the rumor that's going around. It's any day now. So now I'm seeing all these players that grew up watching and idolized, and I'm just like, damn, not only am I getting kind of old, but, like, you know, like, part of these, you know, these guys have bits of my childhood, so it's kind of sad to see them go.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I didn't watch enough of those guys, man. I started way too late to where they're near the end of their primes or already past their primes to actually see how great they were. Like, yeah, there's highlights up, but I never saw it in real time.
I think the biggest one for you is going to be Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson in that era.
Yeah.
Of movies.
Yeah.
Right.
At least for your age group. What were you going to say, Pardue?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. I was like, well, in turn, like, when you got into it, you had guys like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, and I mean, who else? I mean,
Tony Romo.
Yeah, Tony Romo.
He's just retired early.
Yeah. So it kind of just changed from generation to generation. It's just kind of wild that, you know, like,
Alex
me and Sanders
Smith,
are getting
I guess, too.
Yeah. It's just kind of weird now that at this point that me and Sanders are getting to the age where, like, we're older than players in the league now. And now the players we grew up idolizing and wanted to be when we grew up are now ending their careers. It's just kind of weird.
You know how bad it feels to be making my salary I make as a teacher? When I look at Patrick Mahomes, who's a year younger than me.
Yeah. I'm older than Kyler Murray, bro.
Faster than Zoom, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, back to the point, is Tom Brady still playing amongst all these guys, right? And he's playing well, and he's leading a team, an offense that has found a balance in the offseason, and they could easily win this coming weekend. No doubt in my mind, but unfortunately, as we said all season, they're a Jekyll and Hyde team. Their win against Washington was kind of iffy. They didn't really turn it on against the Saints until the second half. They haven't played a full 60 minutes in a bit of time now, and Green Bay has been on the gas. Literally since I can't even remember the last time I thought Green Bay looked mediocre. Probably the Buccaneers Packers.
Probably the Bucs game,
right?
Yeah.
So honestly, I anticipate the Packers
that was
play
2 months ago.
I anticipate the Packers play a full 60 minutes. So does Pardue, and we're pretty certain that they're going to beat the Bucs, and that's why we have the Bucs at 4. And even if the Bucs did win the Super Bowl, the same questions about them playing a full 60 minutes still remain going into the Super Bowl if they made it. So home field advantage be damned. Don't think they'd win it, but who really knows? They still have a shot. They're the 4th best team right now. Anybody can win it at this point. So that's our number 4. At number 3, we have the Buffalo Bills. So I'm going to let Pardue take this one away because I had him at number 2, but both Tristan and Pardue said we should put him at number 3, and they kind of convinced me. So I'm going to let them go with their analysis on the Bills recently, and then I'll add some stuff. So you guys take it away.
Right. So when I'm looking at the Bills so far this postseason, and I mean, just this postseason as a whole, like, I feel like it's been really lacking the spark. Nothing magical has happened this postseason. No Deshaun Watson spinning out of a sack and throwing a huge pass to set up the game-winning touchdown. Nothing like that's happened. No Aaron Rodgers Hail Marys. Nothing incredible's happened. And the team that I expected more than anybody to be doing that in this postseason was the Bills. And maybe I'm putting too lofty of expectations on them, but they just only offensively put up 10 points on the Ravens. And don't get me wrong, the Ravens defense is very, very special. But this is an MVP candidate we're talking about in Josh Allen. And I know the running game is almost non-existent for the Bills, and that's another reason why I'm kind of, not as high on them. I'm almost even higher on the Buccaneers than I am the Bills kind of at this point, simply because they are a more balanced offense. And if you can take away Diggs, and if you can shut down Josh Allen, you can get this offense. And if you have a high enough powered offense to couple, the Ravens couldn't put up 10 points. If you put them against any other team in the AFC right now, the Bills team, like last week, I would see the Bills losing. And it's nothing against the Bills. I really like this team. Last week, I said the Bills will be in the Super Bowl. I'm not sure I'm on that train anymore. And it's just the balanced attack isn't there. And me and Sanders say this all the time. The key to winning playoff football is great defense and the ability to run the ball. Well, all the other teams in the playoffs right now are playing pretty good damn defense and running the ball. And the one team that isn't is the Buffalo Bills. So that's kind of like my biggest knock on them. Don't get me wrong. Josh Allen's still great. Stephon Diggs is still great. But those are the guys on offense. And yeah, you still got Cole Beasley. But if you can take Stephon Diggs away and you can limit what Josh Allen does, you're going to win that game. And the Kansas City Chiefs defense is more than, built to do that. What's your take on them, Tristan?
To give them credit where credit's due, at spots, especially when they're infested with injury, their defense looks shaky, but they played Lamar perfectly. I don't know if they can do that to Mahomes though, honestly, because Mahomes can also scramble out of the pocket, not as elusive as Lamar does, but still has the sneaky ability to.
And Mahomes is a far superior passer.
The problem with the Bills was not even the Ravens game to me. The Colts game, if Reich coached even a slightly better game, the Bills were out round one. And I think, in my opinion at least, Reed is a better coach than Reich, just because of longevity and all the other stuff. But I could definitely see the Bills winning on Sunday, but I don't think they're better than Kansas City is as a unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you mentioned the Bills defense going up against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and again, no disrespect to the Ravens and you, Sanders, but Patrick Mahomes, I think it's pretty fair to say he's a far superior passer than Lamar.
Oh, 100%. I think
right.
I've been pretty honest in my analysis of Lamar, right?
Yeah.
I think Lamar as a
right.
player is arguably when it comes to athlete at quarterback, is a top 5 athlete at quarterback, but when it comes to being a quarterback, and I'm not talking about just throwing, because I've said on this show, you can't just do throwing with Lamar. You have to add in the rushing yards. He has to be viewed as a total yards quarterback, right? Because people are like, oh, he only threw 160 yards. Well, he also ran for 140. That's a 300-yard game. Your quarterback, Tom Brady, threw for 300 yards too. What's the difference between him throwing for 300 and my quarterback getting 300? Either way, the production is the same. They both scored 31 points. What's the big deal, right? And it's just hard for people to grasp that. But I would only call him probably top 10 at the moment, probably at 9 or 10. Maybe 8 at this point. And I feel like that's an honest assessment of Lamar, right? So
right.
I totally agree with you.
Lamar,
he's going to throw over that Bills defense way better. The other thing is Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and all those are much better,
far superior weapons
to what Baltimore has, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in terms of Lamar, he's probably the best athlete and best football player at the quarterback position, but he's not the best quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's Aaron Rodgers, but I think Pat Mahomes has the athletic ability, and he's up there in terms of athletic ability at the quarterback position. And the Bills can keep that in check. If they can do it to Lamar, they can do it to Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes could beat them with his arm and all the weapons he has. So it's just I don't know. That's what it comes down to between the Bills and the Chiefs here, kind of the number 2 and number 3 spot. Spoiler alert.
So, Tristan, do you have anything else to say, what you think about the Bills and whatnot? I want to give you your time to shine, and don't fuck it up like you did the Raiders team last time.
Okay, I won't.
I had to throw that in there, just a slight roast. Go on, my man. We brought you back on for a reason.
It just brings back Vietnam flashbacks.
Oh no.
No, but that's my main issue with the Bills is that I guess Singletary can be decent for a few yards, but their running attack is non-existent.
Well, their running back room is
Allen
also
can
banged
run.
up.
Allen can run, but
right.
Now I don't think anyone Diggs could be shut down, but I don't think anyone's going to shut down Diggs. To me, I'm worried more about
not this year.
I'm worried more about can you shut down the other guys like Beasley and Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a 2-man game between Allen and Diggs, you put the Bills into a kind of a, I don't know how to describe it exactly.
Do or die situation?
Kinda, yeah. I trust the Bills defense more now than I did at the beginning, especially with Trey White back, and that safety core is amazing with Poyer and Hyde. But I like their front 7, or their front 4 at least, but I'm not fully convinced on them yet.
And Sanders, you just said something, but I kind of wanted to counter that, and I'm not trying to attack you or anything here. But you said that the Bills runners, their running backs, are really banged up, and yes, that is true. I'll give you that. But
they only have one running back, don't they? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think Moss is hurt, right?
Mm-hmm. And while that is true, yes, you are 100% right. They haven't been banged up all year, and that running game's been mediocre all year.
It was better than what it is, though. Was kind of the point I was getting at.
Yeah, you're right. But and going back off of that, how many pass plays did the Bills run to start the football game before they ran a single run with a running back? Wasn't it 12? Wasn't it 12 pass plays before Josh Allen scrambled for one, and then it was 17 pass plays or 17 total plays before they gave one to a running back? That's not going to win you a game against the Chiefs. Sorry.
You're going to have to keep Kansas City's offense off the field. And I don't know if you can do that. Even if you do score 7, you're giving Kansas City way too much time.
And you got to keep that defense honest. If you're just passing every play, Tyrann Mathieu, he's kind of become a dick in terms of, Cardinals fans. But the dude's a baller. They call him the fucking Warden for a reason, man. He's going to go out there and make plays. He's going to get picks. If you're throwing every play, Tyrann Mathieu's going to be a terror on that field. So that's kind of what I got on the Bills.
All right, so they got the Bills at number 3. I agreed to keep them at number 3, so I won't argue why they should be higher. For me, it's hard for me to justify really any team but Green Bay winning the Super Bowl because, man, I thought, it's going to be Buffalo's Packers. That's what I said, pre-wild card weekend because we always make our picks before then. And I was like, Green Bay's most likely going to like it. And the more games I watch, the more I'm like, yeah, no one's playing better than Green Bay. Literally no one. Mm-hmm. Kansas City's not. Cleveland didn't this weekend. Baltimore didn't. Buffalo hasn't. Tampa Bay, like I said, has won their game.
I would say they're the second closest to it. I mean, the Washington game was kind of ugly, but they beat up on the Saints pretty good. But I mean,
it was also a comeback. Yeah. It was 20-3 at one point.
Yeah.
You know what's funny was when it was 20-3, I so badly was going to send you a text saying, "Ha ha ha! You picked the Bucks, you fucking clown!" And I'm glad I didn't. I typed it out and I thought to myself, if I send this,
Tom Brady.
It's Tom Brady. That's literally what I thought. I'm like, it's Tom Brady. I can't send this, and I deleted it. And I'm glad I did because you're right. Instantaneously I was like, if I send this, I'm really sending this when the Bucks are led by Tom Brady. No thanks. I'm gonna save myself the embarrassment and the potential screenshot on Twitter that he probably would have put. So I'm glad I saved myself the embarrassment from that. You're right about the running game though when it comes to Buffalo, and I can see why that would be a problem for people. However, this is a team that has won all year without the running game. There was even a point during the Chiefs Super Bowl run where they didn't really have a running game even then. Now, no. Admittingly, their MVP that game was, I'll admit, not Patrick Mahomes. It was Williams that game. But that was just a Super Bowl game, right? And it wasn't even Williams through the running game. It was through a couple passing plays and a couple passing screens. So again, the passing game. I don't think them having a running game is going to hurt them so much unless they played Green Bay. Because Green Bay's only weakness on defensively is the running game. And if you're not going to run the ball, well, Green Bay doesn't give a shit. So I'm fine with them being at number 3. I'm okay with it. But they're really, really close to Kansas City. I feel like they're almost neck and neck at like where they're at personally. The better quarterback is obviously Mahomes. The clutch factor probably goes to Kansas City because we haven't really seen Buffalo clutch out a game, have we, this season?
Certainly saw them choke one.
Well, they almost clutched it out.
You know, you were talking about Colin Cowherd area. The other thing that really annoys the hell out of me listening to him this season is every week the Bills are a Hail Mary away from being 7-0. Next week the Bills are a Hail Mary away from being 8-0. And today he's like, the Bills are a Hail Mary away from being 12-0. I'm like, bro, we get it. They're Hail Mary away from being on a massive winning streak. Shut the fuck up. Like,
I mean, they still are on a massive winning streak, though.
Yeah, but
it's the
difference between, I think, being 8-0 and like 12-0.
Right.
Right? Because the Cardinals upset them. But they haven't had to clutch out a game recently. Like, they didn't really have to clutch out the Colts one. They just had to survive it. They didn't clutch out the Ravens game. They stomped the Dolphins, stomped the Patriots, stomped the Broncos, stomped the Steelers, stomped the 49ers, beat the Chargers, lost to the Cardinals, stomped the hell out of the Seahawks. Maybe they clutched out the Patriots-Bills game before that. I don't really remember that. I'm looking at scores right now.
Well, they did kind of.
You know what? They did have a game they had to clutch out. They did have a game they had to clutch out. And this was the game that Pardue called them fake in the middle of the season. It's when they had to clutch out. They had to clutch out against the Jets.
Oh, yeah.
They had a really ugly-ass game against the Jets, and they had to clutch it out. And that's when Pardue was like, yeah, they lost to the Titans, they lost to the Chiefs, and they can't even barely clutch out to the Jets. Yeah, this is a fake team. I remember him saying that. And I'm not clowning you, Pardue, but I do remember, like, that was where your thought process was at the time. And I don't blame you. Like, they lost to Tennessee, they lost to Kansas City, and you barely clutch it out against the Jets? Like, who the fuck are you, right? But they've gone on a tear ever since. So, you know, let's see. And then, yeah, that's the only game they've clutched out this year. I guess if you want to count the Rams-Bills one, they clutched that one out.
And I mean, let's give them the benefit of the doubt on the Cardinals game too. They clutched that out at the end.
They did.
Like I believe this was like the first game that in the final like 30 seconds or whatever, there was 2 go-ahead passing touchdowns of like 20 or more yards, some shit like that. I don't remember what the exact stat was, but it was something insane like that. So they clutched it out. Just Kyler Murray and D-Hop happened. And that was the difference of them not clutching that out. So technically, let's give it to them twice and say it, because it's not like it was Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs' fault that, you know, D-Hop made an incredible catch over 3 people.
Yeah.
So,
but outside of those 2 games, right, those are both non-playoff teams that they clutched it out against. So, if anything, you could possibly question them like you've questioned Tennessee or Baltimore the last 2 seasons, right? Like, we've always asked ourselves for Tennessee and Baltimore was, okay, if they're not winning and you're not winning with Derrick Henry and running the clock out, or if you're not Baltimore and you're not having full, time of possession, can you win the game? Well, let's ask the question for Buffalo. If you're not always ahead of your opponent, can you win the game? Because I'm sure there's going to be a point in this game. I would be shocked if Buffalo was ahead this whole game, right? I would anticipate either Buffalo to score first, right? Or Kansas City to score first. Maybe Buffalo stalls out a drive and then Kansas City scores again. And then maybe Buffalo scores. I anticipate it to be something like that. I would never think Buffalo's going to be ahead. So I guess that's the question you got to ask yourself. Can they do it? And we don't know. So maybe that's a good reason to put them at number 3. we're talking about Bills Chiefs here. We're not at the game yet, but since we're already there at the Chiefs, let's talk about our number 2 team, which is Kansas City. I don't have much to say about Kansas City other than the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes factor and how vastly talented their offense is. I don't have much to say on their defense. I mean, they got Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu. Like, these are good players. They're good leaders. And when it comes to playoff clutch time, those are players you need to have on your roster because in the end of the day, they turn it up a notch and they can, make the plays that they need to make. At the end of the day, though, the reason they're not number 1 is because I still firmly believe Green Bay is the Super Bowl winner, right? And if you're not better than who I think the Super Bowl winner is, why would I have you number 1 on my list for most likely to win the Super Bowl? I feel like that's really what that comes down
to. If I could go ahead, I do have a couple things on the Chiefs here. You mentioned their defense, and yeah, they got some really great players, guys like Chris Jones, Tyrann Mathieu. It could go on and on. Their defense isn't otherworldly by any means. But it seems like when you absolutely need a play, they make it 9.9 out of 10 times. When the defense absolutely needs to get a stop, when they absolutely need to make a play, and I know it's all controversial because I know the fumble out of the end zone thing. I'm not going to get into that. I think it's a dumbass rule, not to get into it. And also the helmet-to-helmet thing. I get it. But the Chiefs needed a clutch-ass play right there. And I know it's, debatable, but they got it. They forced the fumble, went to the back of the end zone, it's a touchback, it's a turnover, it's their ball. That was a huge play. And the Kansas City defense, that's what they did last year, and that's what won them a Super Bowl, is their defense just made clutch plays. It's not like their defense is otherworldly. It's not like it can't get got. They just make plays. It's a playmaking defense. Now, I just want to talk about Patrick Mahomes for a moment in his injury. Now, I know he's going to play. I'm very, very confident he's going to play. But the only thing that I find kind of interesting about it is all the conflicting reports we're kind of getting. So I don't remember the name, and I should have looked it up, but I didn't. So I know I think it's something Hemingway. I don't know. He is a radio guy in Kansas City for the Chiefs. And he tweeted, I believe yesterday or the day before, that Patrick Mahomes actually did not suffer a concussion, but he suffered a sprain or a pinch to a nerve in between his L3 and L2 spinal bones, I guess you could call them, or vertebrae. And a sprain to that nerve causes concussion-like symptoms. So that's why they thought he had a concussion. Now, then there's obviously been reports that it was just a concussion. And then now there's people saying, oh, he did pass protocol. And then now there's people saying, oh, well, he hasn't passed protocol. And now he practiced limited today. So nobody quite knows what the Patrick Mahomes injury actually is or what's all going on there. I'm very, very confident. I'm 90% sure he's going to play. And I mean, if not, it's Henny season, boys. But anyway, it'll be kind of interesting to see if the injury were to be a pinched nerve, how that would affect him in the game. And we're not going to know until Sunday, but it's just kind of interesting to see. I think he's going to be all right. It's just going to be kind of something to monitor throughout the week. And in terms of the Chiefs as a whole, kind of like you said, I don't have a whole lot to say outside their defense being better than I think the numbers show. Because, like I said, they make plays when they need it. But I think, like you said, they're the number 2 team only because right now nobody's besting the Packers. If the Packers weren't playing at just the level they are right now, the Chiefs would probably be the favorites. But, Packers are just playing great football.
Things I like about Kansas City, or like a player I like on that team who I don't think gets enough credit is L'Jarius Sneed. That dude is very underrated. He's not like a shutdown yet or anything, but he'll be probably the best corner on that team in a few years. The thing I don't like about Kansas City, and I guess this could help them in the playoffs in close scenarios, is they can't seem to blow out anybody or win convincingly. Their last, what is it, 7 or 8 games now, they've won by 1 score or less. And they aren't against they're not all against world beaters. Like they beat Atlanta by 3, and Miami, they were kind of blowing them out the whole game, but they only won by 6. Just stuff like that. I'm not fully convinced that they can put away teams yet.
Right. It's definitely a team that's pissed off gamblers a lot this season. It's because we expect the Kansas City Chiefs, they're one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL. They're defending Super Bowls. They got Patrick Mahomes. They're going to beat the spread every single time. So let's bet on them to beat the spread. And then they're not blowing teams out when we expect them to. And I don't really know what it is. Maybe like just the defense and the offense isn't always on the same page. It's all fairly close games, and you hit the nail on the head. So I think it's something to monitor as well. I mean, in the end, they're still winning the game. So, I mean, you can't, hold it against them too much. But you definitely are right that they can't seem to put games away when they're given the opportunity.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to say is that their red zone offense, at least to me from what I've seen, is absolutely abysmal, man. I don't know what it is, but they cannot seem to punch the ball in.
It's because their offense is designed to take deep shots when you got Mecole Hardman and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
They were 2 for 5 against Cleveland in the red zone. I don't know, that they seem to struggle hard in that aspect of their offense. And I get it's because they have burners, but they still have like Kelce to get the ball. And they could hand it off. I guess Hilaire isn't playing, or he could have been playing this week, but they could hand it off to Williams even, Darryl. I just don't know what's going on with that part of their offense.
All right, you got anything else, Sanders?
No, I don't. I think that's a pretty good fit for the Chiefs. Okay, Packers. So why do I keep gushing over them? Why are they number 1? Can I state the obvious in Aaron Rodgers, and I don't need to say anything else because if you've been watching football, you know what I'm talking about. Moving on. Second thing, the diversity of their running game. Well, Jamal Williams hasn't necessarily been fantastic this season. Whenever he has been on the field, he's shown some good stuff in spurts. A.J. Dillon is finally working out. So much for us shitting on the Packers draft choices. Holy shit. They're just fine. A.J. Dillon was a good choice, as it turns out. They focused on defense, and look how good their defense is now. We clowned this draft so hard, and it ended up being the right move, all the while playing towards the future, right? Now, Jordan Love is... Talking about him is neither here nor there when it comes to that draft, but overall, this draft has contributed to a Super Bowl, and the thing we said most was, your draft is not going to contribute to the Super Bowl. You didn't improve your team, and we were so wrong. We were so wrong. And as it turns out, Aaron Jones is still phenomenal. Devontae Adams is great. Lazard has his moments, and so does Scantling. Now, that's where the negative comes in, is they have their moments, right? Like Lazard, I think, in the same game against the Rams, he had like a massive drop, right? That was like a go-ahead touchdown. Like, not go-ahead, a walk-in touchdown, right? And he dropped it. And then I think it was 2 drives later, they did a play-action pass to Lazard, and he caught it that time. Am I saying this correctly? I'm pretty sure that's what happened, right? And so all you need are those moments from Lazard and Scantling, right? Just give us those moments. Give us that 156-yard touchdown, because in the end of the day, that's 7 points on the board. And it's not like Mason Cosby is a slouch on special teams. Like, this is just an all-around solid football team. There's really no weaknesses outside of their run defense, and I don't anticipate any of these 3 teams to just run them over. Right? And I'm not saying that, Leonard Fournette can't have a day. I'm not saying that maybe Josh Allen and Devin Singletary combined have a good running day against them in a Super Bowl, or maybe that Patrick Mahomes and Lev Bell suddenly have a day. I'm not saying that can't happen. I'm saying that's not the win conditions for the Bills, the Chiefs, or even really the Bucs. All 4 of these teams have great quarterbacks, and that's why they're here. It's their passing games. And you have to be able to run the ball at the end of the day. But when you look at the Bucs, you don't tell yourself, oh, yeah, Leonard Fournette's going to carry him to a win. Devin Singletary is going to carry the Bills to a win. Or Lev Bell is going to carry the Chiefs to a win. You don't say any of that. You don't say that, right? That's not their main win condition. And unfortunately for everyone else, Green Bay's glaring weakness is the running game. And if you can't punish that, or if your game plan isn't to punish that, which none of these teams' game plans is going to be to punish that, sounds like they're going to have the advantage over you. I love Green Bay, man. I love them. Their weakness is the running defense. If you want to know their weakness on offense, it's that if you shut down Adams or if Adams gets hurt, they're in a little bit of trouble. Who really knows if they can move the ball after that? Devontae Adams does so much for them. When we've seen Adams out of the game, the offense is completely different. Even though Rodgers is at an MVP level, you still need a number one threat. We saw Josh Allen go from to amazing. You know, I guarantee you if Tyreek Hill wasn't in that offense, Mahomes would still be great, but not nowhere near as great as he plays right now. Like, it's so crucial to how much a number one target makes a difference. We saw Kyler Murray go from pretty good to pretty damn good, I would say, with DeAndre Hopkins. We saw Deshaun Watson, struggle in the first 5 weeks without DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, he got used to it because he's a great player, but it took him a while. So it can't be overstated that, like, if Adams gets hurt, obviously this list is upside down at that point, I feel. I don't think it's that bad to just say, their weaknesses, they don't have consistency at wide receiver 2 and 3. I don't think that's that terrible of a weakness, especially for how strong they are everywhere else. Their offensive line, even without Bakhtiari, is still incredible. I know it just sounds like I'm rubbing off the Packers, but that's kind of because I am, because no one's better than them right now. That's my opinion, and we all agreed that they were number one. I don't know why you guys think they're number one, so why don't you guys take the mic away from me?
Yeah, so one thing that I don't think gets enough credit for the Packers is their defense, and I'm adding you here, Tristan, because you tried to tell us that their defense, and as well as the Chiefs, and while I think the Chiefs are a step below the Packers here, the Chiefs are still really good playmaking defense, and they don't give a lot of points. And that being said, Packers are all around really well beat, and yeah, their rush defense is not the greatest. But let's look at their last 4 games, shall we? So, a few weeks ago, Packers played the Panthers. They gave up 16 points. And you say, well, it was only the Panthers. Well, let's keep in mind this offense has Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, Mike Davis, who was really good at the time, and DJ Moore. Some pretty good offensive weapons to hold to 16 points. Moving on. Now, this is a pretty good one. 14 points, a game they won 40-14. They gave up 14 points to the Titans, who at the time were the number one offense in the National Football League. And I know it was really, really cold, and it was snowy, but you think
Derrick Henry can feast on that.
Right. You would think that would be a game where the rushing attack of the Titans really pops off, and now Ryan Tannehill had like a 50-yard run for a touchdown on a read option or whatever. But for being a really bad rushing defense, they shut down Derrick Henry pretty well that game. Moving on to the next one, 16 points versus the Bears. And now you're saying, okay, it's the Bears. Okay, that game versus the Packers snapped a 4-game streak of 30-plus points by the Bears, something they had not accomplished since 1985. So the Bears' offense was pretty hot coming into that game. They held them to 16 points. And then last week, the game versus the Rams, where they held them to 18 points. And now, I know it's Jared Goff. I know it's not like they have any otherworldly wide receivers. It's not like their running backs are incredible. Cam Akers had a pretty good game. Cam Akers is a rising player in this league. But Sean McVay is a goddamn mastermind, and he will fuck up any defense's day. And to hold them to 18 points, no matter the situation, is still really, really impressive. So this defense doesn't mess around. And this defense could shut down, honestly, anybody, any other team. Out of the 3 other teams that are in the playoffs, this defense has the ability to shut them down, even the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay, when we say shut down, we mean hold them under 26 points, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is essentially shutting down the Chiefs' offense.
Right. And so my big thing on the Packers here, because we've been talking so much about them and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and everything, and rightfully so. They've been incredible this year. That offense has been great. But I don't think the defense has gotten the love that they deserve as well. So that's why I wanted to hit that. And just the last thing I wanted to mention on them is, again, like I just said, just here a little bit ago, at least in my eyes, it's always going to kind of be the key for me for playoff football. Is your defense playing great football, and do you have a consistent run game? That will win you football games. And right now, the Packers, probably out of the teams that remain, are playing the best defense in the league. You could probably argue the Buccaneers are up there as well after that last Saints game, but since they kind of looked iffy versus Washington, I'm still going to give the edge to the Packers. And out of all the teams that are left, yeah, I'm going to probably say the Packers have the best running game with that three-headed monster. A.J. Dillon's been extremely impressive. Aaron Jones is a superstar, and Jamal Williams is an incredible change of pace who will run your ass over. Couple that with MVS, Allen Lazard, Devontae Adams with, in my opinion, the most talented quarterback of all time throwing them the football, having a career year. This is Aaron Rodgers' best year of his career. And you could say, I don't think he's quite there yet, but he's in the twilight of his career. He's having an incredible year. And it's really impressive what he's doing. And I'm going to gush over Aaron Rodgers because I always kind of used to think he was kind of pompous. And I never really hated Aaron Rodgers in a way, but I always thought he was kind of a dick. And maybe I didn't hate him because the Cardinals have had pretty good success against him over the years. I know a lot of other people haven't liked Aaron Rodgers, but as of late, especially this year, I've really started to come around on him. And he said on Pat McAfee that, because he comes on there every Tuesday, that he changed his outlook on life this year and on the person he should be this year.
Oh, so you did see that one. Okay.
Yeah. And he says he's changed his complete outlook on life and the person he should be this year.
He wants to be more positive.
Right. And he said this year, this blew my mind, that for the first time in his career, players in the locker room post-game are asking him to give speeches. That blew my mind. One of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, is just now being asked by his teammates to start giving inspirational and speeches to the team. And I think that's the difference in Aaron Rodgers and this Green Bay Packer team this year, and that's why I think they win the Super Bowl.
I definitely believe not only does he have the on-field talent to rally, but I also think he has the leadership skills now to rally. Mm-hmm. He's going to get, let's just say Josh Allen or Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes in whatever game has a heartbreaking situation and there's 45 seconds left where they got to go score a touchdown. They're not going to sit there and be nervous about it. Rodgers is going to be like, we're going to score in 50 seconds. Mm-hmm. We are going to score. It's not, let's possibly go get this, or, hey, we got a shot. No, it's, hey, we've won the game already, guys. We just got to go do it.
And I love that cocky coolness that he has, dude. Just hearing him talk ball and kind of like when he really breaks down what he's seeing on the field, man, I just love it, man. Because I understand to a point the complexities of what he's talking about and how he's breaking down defenses. And then he's like I saw this play pre-snap and I saw how their safeties were reading this play and I knew it was going to be a touchdown before I even snapped the ball. And I was like, that cocky coolness is just it's just elite, bro. I love it hearing Aaron Rodgers talk, and I never thought I'd say that.
I think one of my favorite things that they said about I want to say it was about Aaron Rodgers, where it was Aaron Rodgers went to the line. I think Aaron Donald commented on it. Forgive me if I'm quoting the wrong player in the wrong defense. I can't say it was Aaron Donald. I know it was a player on a defense that was talking about Aaron Rodgers. And correct me if I'm wrong. But they said how Aaron Rodgers told the linebacker, he said, hey, you're in the wrong position for your play. because he knew the defense so
Mhm.
well. He's
Yep.
like, hey, you're in the wrong position, just so you know. And then he hiked the ball, and they got like a 12-yard gain out of it. He
Yeah.
literally told the defender, hey,
No,
you're in the
no, no,
wrong
no.
position.
Yeah. No, I actually know exactly what we're talking about. J.J. Watt posted that today, and he was talking about Phillip Rivers. But it's still totally
Oh,
something.
my bad.
It's still totally something I would see Aaron Rodgers doing.
My bad. I could totally see him doing that too. Then it was
Phillip
Phillip
Rivers also
that
the goat
happened
of
before.
shit talk.
Dude,
Yeah. Phillip
I-
Rivers is also the goat of shit talk when it comes to
Oh,
being
he
a
really is.
quarterback,
Especially
so.
because he doesn't cuss doing it. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gave out
yeah.
bad information.
Yeah.
I knew it was about some great quarterback. That's hilarious still, though.
Mhm.
They do that.
Yeah, no, I read that today. I was like, wow, that's fucking funny.
There is something that Aaron Rodgers does, though. And I think he has the cerebral ability that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning does, is when a play is called by Matt LaFleur, right? Rodgers will go up and he'll say, nah, that's a shit play call. And he immediately goes up to the line and says, we're doing this instead. Right? Because he dissects the defense and says, hey, they're all in these modes. Or not in these modes. They're in these coverages. This is what we got to do instead. I like his ability to audible on the field. And I think that's greater than probably any other quarterback besides maybe Tom Brady. Tom Brady might...
Mhm.
I might give Tom Brady the benefit of the doubt and say Tom Brady's better at it because, well, look how many Super Bowls Tom Brady has and how many times he's done it. So...
It's funny. The last Aaron Rodgers story, at least that I have, he was on Pat this week, and he was talking about the Rams, the Rams game, and it was either the end. I'm pretty sure it was the end of the first quarter, and time was winding down. The play clock was ahead of the game clock, so they were just trying to get the Rams to jump off sides. And like he says, he was going to the line. He's like, I knew I wasn't going to snap it, and I kind of didn't even want to run this because I was just wasting my own time. But I went up to the line, obviously trying to get them to jump. And then he said 43 on the Rams, started talking, and he's like, we ain't jumping, we ain't following that. And all I said back to him was, yeah, you could just look at the play clock and game clock and know we're not actually going to snap it, right? And just walked off. I was like, man, that's hilarious. So, no, I'm really starting to come around on Aaron Rodgers, man. He's really fun to listen to. He's incredible to watch play.
You know what I would love? Is if, let's just say there was like 11 seconds left on the play clock, right? And he walks up and he hears the guy say that. And so they wouldn't have a cadence. They wouldn't have a cadence for it. You'd have to have a cadence for it. Let's just say your cadence was 49. 49 would mean we're going to fake hike it once to make it seem like we're trying to get them off, and then when he does it a second time, you actually hike the ball, which would catch them way off guard at that point.
Right. Or run that go to Devontae.
And I was going to say run a slant. Don't run a long play, because if you run a long play, that's enough time to adjust to the fact that play started. But if you run a slant, right, in that half to 1 second, they're not ready, and that's a guaranteed at least 6-7 yards. So I think that'd be hilarious. And also, I feel really bad about the misinformation now. I was like, I think it's Rodgers, but maybe it was someone else. It was Phillip Rivers then. I know I read it this morning.
It's okay, man. I'm here to correct you.
Thank you. That's why I said correct me if I'm wrong. So those are our top 4 teams. We've already kind of talked about the games. Let's get more in depth in them, and then we will head right on out of here. Bills Chiefs, which is going to, I believe, be the first game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
You can't not have Rodgers and Brady in prime time, bro.
That's what I say, right? But, what's funny is I've always hyped up Rodgers, Brady every time they meet up, but the last, I think, 3 times they've met up, it's never been a good game. Never. I think when it was Patriots-Packers 3 or 4 years ago, the Patriots fucking stomped them. And then the Buccaneers just stomped. Like, it's never been what it should be. I'm still mad at the Seahawks for denying us a Patriots-Packers Super Bowl in 2014. It pisses me off. We could have had Rodgers, Brady in the Super Bowl. Instead, we got a Malcolm Butler interception.
Let's not play like that wasn't a great game, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it a great game, or was just everyone hyped? No, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me ask you this. It's the same question I have for the Falcons-Patriots game, right? Because let's face it, the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl wasn't really that good. Even though it was very hype in the moment, it's not very good to go back and watch. Once the amusement of the comeback once you know it, it's not that fun of a game to watch. I've already rewatched Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl. It sucks to rewatch once you already know the magic. I promise. I have not rewatched the Patriots-Seahawks game, though, mostly just because I'm bitter about that game. Not because the Patriots won, but because I'm bitter that the Seahawks were even in it in the first place, because it should have been Green Bay. If not for Brandon Bostick and so many other random-ass things that let the Seahawks score 16 points in 2.5 minutes. Regardless, all I really remember from that game is when I was watching it with my not roommates. I was watching it with people because it was my freshman year at NAU in college. I remember everyone being hyped because everyone wanted the Patriots to lose. And everyone was getting excited because the Seahawks were winning, and they were winning pretty much the whole game. And then Tom Brady did some fourth quarter magic, made it 28-24. Seahawks ran it down the field, and there was a Malcolm Butler interception. Is that exciting? Like, is one team winning the entire time exciting, or does everybody remember it being exciting because of A, one incredible moment, which was the Malcolm Butler interception, which, no lie, is an incredible moment, and B, the team that everyone wanted to lose was losing at the time?
It was still relatively close throughout, and when you have a fourth quarter lead change, and then no matter how it goes, man, that's a good game. I'm not even going to try and argue with this one. Yes, it was a good game.
I'll have to rewatch the game then, because I remember liking it, I just don't remember loving it like I did.
You sound like you're just bitter because the Packers weren't in it.
Well, it's not just that. When I compare it to something like Patriots-Eagles was phenomenal, dude. That was a great game to watch.
It's not like I'm saying that Super Bowl is like one of the best of all time. I mean, it was a really good Super Bowl, though.
Like, I'm not even going to lie to you, dude. I don't even like my Super Bowl that much. My Super Bowl was 31-29, but the game was 28-3 at one point.
It was 34-31, number one. You don't even know the score of your final Super Bowl.
No, it was 31-29.
Do you want to bet? Do you want to fucking bet, Sanders?
Hold on. I got the championship flag. It was
flag 34-31.
Ah, shit. It says here 34-31.
You fucking dumbass. And that was the same game where the power went out. And it was fucking crazy.
And that's the only thing memorable about that game.
No, shut up, Sanders. Like, you get your shit opinions out of here. Let's move into the matchup.
No,
man.
hold on a second. I have a question. Is a 28-6 to stomp really that exciting? Because that's what it was at one point.
And then what happened? And then it got exciting.
They came back and didn't win the comeback. They didn't win the comeback.
Jones.
The 49ers couldn't win the comeback.
It doesn't matter. It was still a good game.
Like, I was super hyped in the moment because I'm like, yeah, my team won a Super Bowl. But when I rewatched the Super Bowl, outside of a couple moments like the Jacoby Jones touchdown return is phenomenal.
Goated.
And that's it. That's really all I remember from that Super Bowl. And I've watched that Super Bowl 3 or 4 times.
You don't even remember the final score.
I'm sorry, dude. I was off. Whatever. You know what? There was one other memorable play from that game. When Sam Koch took the putt in the end zone and he fucking ran with it instead to waste time. Yeah, that was a good play too. But other than that, like, I wouldn't call the Ravens 49ers a great Super Bowl, even though I'm a big Baltimore fan. Patriots-Eagles was much more entertaining.
No more opinions for you today.
You cannot deny Patriots-Eagles is a better Super Bowl.
No shit!
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean those ones aren't good.
Rewatch it, dude. I promise you Ravens 49ers isn't exciting as you remember. The coolest
I'm gonna ignore everything.
The coolest part about that Super Bowl was the dome power outage. I'm just saying, man.
I'm sorry. You said something?
Oh, you said something. Anyway.
Yeah, I need NASA satellite to find out who asked, Chief.
Oh, my goodness. Anyways, you know what?
Right now I am currently the meme pointing the microphone at the trash can asking you, Sanders, if you have anything else to say.
I'm going to rewatch Patriots Seahawks and come back next week. How about that?
Fine.
No, I will. I'll come back and I'll be like, you know what? It was actually a pretty good game. Or I'll come back and say, hey, you know what? It's not fun watching one team be ahead the whole time. By the way, if there's any Ravens fans here, just know I'm always going to love our Super Bowl win. It was great in the moment, and the highlights are fun to watch. But the game as a whole, if you're watching it just as a football analyst, You're watching more or less a stomp and then a team rallying to come back, and they never make the comeback. That's what ended up
Dang,
happening.
imagine going from elite Joe Flacco to a running back at quarterback. That's wild, man.
Hey, bro, imagine going from the Rosen one to a slightly better running quarterback who can throw a bit better.
Rosen's the best quarterback of all time, though. That's what you're
no.
missing, man.
Oh, no.
Rosen's still better than Lamar.
Chosen a Rosen, bro.
There was 9 mistakes made ahead of me.
Yeah. Did you see the video that the No Cardinals context posted?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like, we're going to win some Super Bowls.
We're going to win some Super Bowls. Yeah, I was like,
Rosen is our guy.
Big yikes, bro. Let's get to this weekend's games. So, I still haven't actually found the actual schedule, which is disappointing me after all this talk, which is kind of why I was going on this, to give myself and buy myself some time. And it didn't even work anyway. Hey, here it is. So, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus at the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. It's actually going to be on Fox, and that will be the morning game. Quote-unquote morning.
Bullshit.
It's going to be at 1:05 p.m. on Fox. I'm going to assume, because this doesn't list the broadcasters, I'm going to assume it's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. And then for Bills Kansas City, which is going to be at 6:40 Eastern, 3:40 our time, is going to be on CBS. I am again assuming that is Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. You got to have your quote-unquote best broadcasters for it, right?
Romo the GOAT.
Love Romo. So Romo's speaking of quarterbacks, we learned to appreciate. We didn't appreciate him for actually how good of a quarterback he probably was till after he retired. Like when
he was a cowboy.
Well, I know, but he had 21 comebacks in such a short career, right? I think he still holds the percentage for most clutch comebacks of any quarterback, right? And his football IQ is out of this world. It makes me wonder if Jerry Jones actually put a defense around him, would they have won at least a couple Super Bowls? Who really knows? But we got the Buccaneers Packers and then the Bills Chiefs. So let's go with the first game, which is Buccaneers Packers. I'm just going to make my pick right away. I think I've talked enough about what I like about these teams. I'm picking the Packers. They're my pick to win the Super Bowl. It'd be hypocritical of me if I didn't pick the Buccaneers. At the end of the day, the Packers have a better running game, a better passing game, and dare I say a better quarterback at the moment, at least this season playing better. And that's no disrespect to Tom Brady, who's had a great season as well. No lie. Tom Brady has had a great season as well. Maybe the Buccaneers have the edge in having a better wide receiver core, but I don't think that makes a better passing game, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense? I don't know. It sounds weird to say, but if you know the two teams, then you know what I'm talking about. No, it doesn't make sense, or
no, it makes sense. I'm picking up where you're putting it down.
Okay, cool. So, but on paper, it doesn't make sense. But when you think about how the games have rolled out for these teams, that's how it is. Am I giving the Buccaneers zero chance? No, I think they've actually got a shot at winning this game. They already beat them once; they could do it again. And yet, it feels like Green Bay is the hotter team. I don't think Green Bay's going to let this go. That Lambeau Field crowd at 9,000 was loud against the Rams. Dude, they were loud. I can't believe how loud they were. I can't imagine what it's going to be like for the Buccaneers. This is the Aaron Rodgers' first ever NFC Championship game in Lambeau Field. First ever in Lambeau Field. That's so crazy, right? So, yeah. Green Bay, dude. I think the crowd's going to bring it. They're going to bring it. I think the Buccaneers will give them a run for their money. This reminds me of a game where the Packers run away with it in the fourth quarter, and it's not a close fourth quarter ending. So I'll take Green Bay 32-24 or 32-23, my bad.
I'm actually extremely excited for this game. Way more excited for this game than I am for the AFC game. That's why I was hoping it was the primetime game. But I just let's get into the hype a little bit of this matchup. It's in my opinion, the two greatest quarterbacks of all time facing off in an NFC Championship.
You want to explain why you consider Rodgers? I'm not saying for me, because I know why you do. Well, you should explain that, though, because that's a controversial one.
Right. So in terms of pure talent, pure ability, pure playing the quarterback position, no one will ever be better than Aaron Rodgers. Book it. No one will ever be better than Aaron Rodgers at playing the quarterback position, ever. Now, in terms of pedigree, the name, the accomplishments, Tom Brady is the GOAT. But when it comes to playing the position itself, Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT. So putting that there. So the two GOATs, the 1A, 1B of the quarterback position in NFL history are facing off in an NFC Championship game. Something, I mean, nobody ever expected that we'd see this. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady in an NFC Championship game. So, it would have been cool to see him in a Super Bowl. We can, let Sanders cry about that. But to see him in an NFC Championship game is going to be pretty cool. That being said, this game is going to be a bloodbath. I got a strong, strong feeling it's going to be a bloodbath. These are two defenses that are gelling with their offenses at the perfect time. They're both playing very, very balanced football. And they both have really, really great running games. Of the 4 teams remaining, these are the 2 teams that are built to win playoff games, in my opinion, with their great defense and their great running game. Leonard Fournette and Rojo have been awesome in the playoffs. And decoupling a great run game and the bash and bomb Bruce Arians offense to work off of play action, Tom Brady, orgasm. Beautiful. So you coupling that in that offense, that's greatness. And then their defense was making plays that ended Drew Brees' career, made him look like shit. That defense is balling out. Now, when you look over here at the Packers, they haven't given up over 20 points in the last 4 games they played. So their defense is balling out. They're making plays. Aaron Rodgers is obviously the MVP of the league this year. It's going to be a great game. I could see the Packers running away with it in the end, but for the sake of me wanting it to be an incredible game throughout, I really, really do. I think of the 4 teams that remain, or the 3 teams other than the Packers that remain, the Buccaneers have the best chance to beat them and kick them out. Because I think if the Packers make it, they're going to beat whoever's in the AFC. So the Buccaneers, it's on you to change the fate of the Super Bowl at this point. But I'm going to say Packers in the snow. Let's keep that in mind. 60% chance of snow. Going to be really, really, really cold. I'm going to say Packers 27-23.
All right. Kind of took my final score there, Andrew. But I didn't get to gush enough about the Packers in the other segment. I just want to say just because I was wrong a few days ago, so I want to mention some of their defensive pieces. They have, outside of Jair, they have Amos and Savage and Zadarius Smith and Chris Barnes, as well as Kenny Clark in the middle of the defensive line. But no, I think this game will be close, especially the Packers are going to want revenge for what happened earlier in the season, because that was the worst loss by far that they've suffered this year. I don't think it'll be a blowout by any means. I think this game will be really close. You have Tampa's defense with the insane linebacking core in front 4, and you have the secondary and linebacking core of the Packers. Not to mention their offenses, including future Cardinal Aaron Jones.
Yes, sir!
But not. I think the Packers will win, but I would not be surprised if this game goes either way. And the problem is, I can never really count Brady out in a playoff game. Even last year, I always thought there was a chance he'd come back and pull it off. I think I'm going to go personally with 31-24 Packers.
Man, y'all got these one-score games.
And you mentioned the previous matchup between the two where the Bucks won like 38 to some crazy shit. It was some crazy
Didn't
amount.
the Packers have a 10-0 lead?
Yeah, they did. So completely throw that out. That was 2 months ago. Do you know how much teams calling individuals change in that time? And then in addition to that, the Buccaneers lost twice to the Saints this year and then just went and shit all over them in their own house.
No, I understand it was a while ago, but I feel like they're still going to want.
No, yeah.
They're still going to use that as clip material and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to project that out to the audience because I've heard people say I have a Bucks fan at work oh well we beat the shit out of them earlier this year. I'm like, dude, that was 2 months ago. It's basically a complete new season at this point.
Okay, so all three of us are picking Green Bay to win. So I'd like to say congratulations to Tom Brady for being the first quarterback to ever have the Super Bowl as a home game.
I saw this stat. He's like 5th all time in playoff wins against the NFC, and he plays in the AFC.
That's insane.
Y'all motherfuckers.
That's such an insane stat.
You know what my favorite stat of last
insane stat. Oh my god. Damn, dude, that's really good, Tristan. Holy shit. That's a good fucking stat.
Oh my god.
You know what my favorite stat of Tom Brady was this last weekend?
What's that?
This last weekend was his 43rd playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
At the age of 43.
Dope.
Insane.
Like,
absolutely.
Y'all realize, I know we say this constantly, but I don't think some people realize we're never seeing this again.
Oh no.
It's never there's never going to be a quarterback who starts more than 44 games. Right? Because he's going to start his 44th game this upcoming weekend. And you know what? Let's just assume he doesn't make the playoffs next season, okay? He probably will, but let's just assume he doesn't, all right? No quarterback is starting 44 games. It's never happening. Don't even bother. Don't even try to do the mental gymnastics around it. It's not happening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and people try to say, "Oh, well, Patrick Mahomes has a good chance." I'm like, okay, talk to me when he gets his 3rd or 4th Super Bowl.
Talk to me like 9 to 10 years from now. Like, seriously. You know what it requires to play 44 games? First of all, you have to win at least 2 games to average 2 games in the postseason to average 3 games in the postseason. Because right now in his career, he has, 21 years he's been playing? So he's averaging 2 postseason appearances a game per season.
A year.
That includes one.
That
includes one off season where he didn't make it. This also includes the fact that he's had a couple one and done seasons. So to make up for the one and done seasons, he has to win a Super Bowl, which he's done. 7 times.
And think about all the bye weeks he's had too. What if he didn't have all those bye weeks?
Correct.
Insane.
Yeah, you're never seeing this again. I promise. Patrick Mahomes might get close. But listen, Drew Brees was one of the great quarterbacks. He didn't match it. Peyton Manning was one of the great quarterbacks. Didn't match it. Dan Marino was a great quarterback. Didn't match it. It's never going to happen.
Didn't even come close.
It's just never going to happen. You need to get used to that fact that you are watching the best of all time, and you need to appreciate that. I hate Tom Brady slander. I absolutely hate it. Anyway, so
system quarterback.
Yep. Tristan, do we want to go there? I'm about to throw you.
Don't get him started. Yeah,
we
don't accept. We don't like. I used to be a huge Tom Brady hater, but I don't accept Tom Brady slander anymore. Anybody who slanders Tom Brady is just a fucking idiot.
Dan Marino better. Dan Marino better.
Okay, Dolphins fans.
1972.
Anyway, you're just a hater at this point because all he does is win, literally.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate Brady.
And what's funny is actually, as I've seen, I saw, because Tom Brady doesn't do interviews. Now that we're on this topic for a second, he did an interview with Willie McGinnis actually before this coming weekend, and he talked about how. He asked him, "Hey, dude, you're 20. You're in your 21st season. You're 43. What does it feel like to still be this good, right?" And he's like, "Well, now at 43, he's like, some of these guys weren't even born when I first started playing football," which, by the way, is crazy to say.
I know, right? That's so wild.
And he talks about how he like looks at these guys who are like 25, 26, 27, and he's now feels like he has taken on a mentorship role, and he's getting those guys prepared. And before he wanted to be the guy who like accepted wisdom from others and he just played well. And now he wants to be the guy that gives wisdom to others. And he even said, like you, Willie McGinnis, because he said Willie McGinnis was the guy who inspired him when they were both on the Patriots. And Willie McGinnis was the veteran on the team while Tom Brady was just the young buck. And so he said he's really embraced this role. He said it's kept him young. He likes the attitude that it gives. And he said it's just a different dynamic. And the more and more I hear from Tom Brady in interviews, the more I see him on his Twitter, not just the memes, but also like his videos that he posts, it's hard to hate him, honestly. It's kind of like the Aaron. Once you get to know a quarterback, and even Tony Romo has shown more of himself. Once you get to know these QBs outside of just headlines, it's an on-field antics. Because let's face it, we've all gotten fucking pissed on the field as a competitor, or a court, or a. I guess it's also called a tennis court. So yeah, whether it's basketball court, tennis court, soccer field, or football field, we've all gotten pissed on the field. It happens, right? You want to win a game. The people who get pissed are usually the ones who want to win the most. Right, and you see Tom Brady start bitching, but usually it's because Tom Brady threw an out route and the receiver went in when the receiver was supposed to go out. Yeah, he's going to be fucking pissed because Brady trusted his receiver to do the one thing he was supposed to do, and he didn't do it, right? So I don't get mad at quarterbacks for getting mad anymore. You can say what you want about him whining. Whatever, dude. He's the GOAT. I'm moving on from this conversation. We got all three Packers winning, so... All three of us got the Packers winning. So like I said, congrats to Tom Brady for winning it, because fuck us for all picking the Packers. For real, though. So I'm pretty sure we got the Packers winning the Super Bowl. Let's go to the Bills Chiefs over here. I can already tell I think Pardew is going to pick the Chiefs. But let me tell you right now, I'm picking the Bills. I really don't know what he's picking. He said he had no clue yet. I'm still picking with the Bills. I picked them not win. Picked them to go to the Super Bowl beforehand. I still think this is the best team in the AFC. I like the talent they got. I love Sean McDermott. I like that they've been winning close games. They haven't had a standout performance since the Miami game where they just stomped the Dolphins 56-26, I think is what it was. They had a close call against the Colts. They had a close call against Baltimore till they made it a pick six, and that pretty much sealed the game from there. I mean, one could argue Lamar's concussion sealed the game because there were still 8 minutes, 46 seconds left, but more or less it was the pick six that really shifted the game. And that's all you need. Sometimes you win defensive games, sometimes you get a huge lead and you just keep your lead, and sometimes you stomp teams. They've had all three types of those games in the last 3 games. The only game they really haven't had is the come from behind win, which they might have to have against Kansas City, but I wouldn't doubt it in my mind that they can do it. They already have done it twice this season, as we said, against the Jets and the Cardinals. I like where this team's at. I don't think they're going to be able to shut down Stephon Diggs. I think it's impossible to shut him down this year. I don't think he's a world beater in general, but this year he has been. Cole Beasley's been one of the most amazing slot receivers, and John Brown's back. I mean, John Brown's not incredible.
John Brown!
But John Brown does provide some juice to that offense.
Props a lot.
Here's the thing. We talked about the running game. When you're playing against the Chiefs, who gives a fuck about the running game? You have to score 35-plus points against this team. I think the Bills can do it. I got the Bills winning this game 38-33, with the Chiefs scoring 33. Now, I should say the reason I don't think the Chiefs are going to, go to like 40 points or whatever is just because I think Tre'Davious White and McDermott, the coach, obviously, are going to create a game plan to keep Hill on the down low, and they're going to try and force the Chiefs to do what the Falcons tried to force them to do, play a dink and dunk offense, and frankly, the Chiefs can't really do that. This is also a Chiefs offense who, even when Mahomes was playing, could not take advantage of the Cleveland secondary like I expected. Like, they were at first, and then they didn't, and I don't know why. So, and without some Chad Henne hero ball, and I understand it's not
that boy goated.
Mahomes at quarterback. Without some Chad Henne hero ball, they're not even here, right? So, and I understand there's a massive difference between Mahomes and Henne. Trust me, I get it. But they definitely did not beat the Browns like I expected them to, even when Mahomes was in there. Call me a hater, because I've been kind of down on the Chiefs lately, but I truly believe the Bills' offense is going to outscore them. That's really what it comes down to. So, yeah, 38-33.
Yeah, I think that score you have is absolutely fucking wild. Like, I can buy the Bills winning, but honestly, and I know we say 35-plus to beat the Chiefs, but honestly, I don't think that's going to be the case. And neither of these offenses in the last couple of weeks, I mean, have really proven to me that they're going to go out there and score 35-plus, especially the Bills. Bills haven't done anything offensively that has really impressed me this postseason. And I'm telling you, and I know, like you say, oh, fuck the running game. You don't need the run game to put up 35 plus against the Chiefs. And like, yeah, to an extent, you got a point. But when you're throwing 17 times before you run your first play with a running back, that's not going to win you a football game. You got to keep them honest. And if you want to beat the Chiefs, you're going to need to set up play action. If you don't have play action, good luck. The Bills' defense has been pretty good. I feel like they're going to do a pretty decent job against the Chiefs. You can't shut down the Chiefs. It's just not a thing. You can hope to limit them, but even then, limiting them is usually, at the bare minimum, 24 points. Now I can see the Bills doing that. I can see the Bills going out and dropping 28 on that defense, but I don't think they'll break 30. Nothing the Bills have done offensively has impressed me for at least throughout the playoffs. So until they show me otherwise, until on Sunday they make me eat my words, I don't know if I could pick them to beat the Chiefs. And like we always say, like, I'm going to pick against the Chiefs until they burn me, or I'm going to pick the Chiefs until they burn me so bad that I'll finally pick against them. And I think that's kind of the thought process I'm going with here is the Bills haven't done enough to impress me. Their play calling in terms of, the differential between the run game and the pass game is something that does worry me. Because if you can't be balanced, I don't see offensive success. You saw it this last week, and I know the Ravens defense is really, really good. It's top 2, top 3 in the league. But the Chiefs defense is no slouch either. And if you're not gonna, be a balanced NFL offense, this isn't Big Ten football here. This isn't the air raid. This is NFL football. You got to run the ball. So I think the Bills can't be balanced, and that's going to be their doom because you saw them put up 10 offensive points last week because they couldn't be balanced. So I'm going to go Chiefs at the score of 27-21.
Okay. So as I'm looking at it, it's not just going to be Mahomes, Tyreek, and Kelsey on that offense. From what I'm seeing, at least, there is a chance that Edwards-Helaire plays as well on Sunday.
He was limited today.
Yeah, he was limited today. And he's not like the greatest running back or anything, but he adds a dynamic to that game, especially receiving-wise, where they can just use him as a safety valve. I think I don't know. Depends on if Allen's ready for Kansas City or not. I think he is ready. I think and this is how most playoff games boil down to anyway, who turns the ball over less. I think if the Bills turn it over twice, they have no shot in this game.
You can't throw away possessions.
Hell, even if they have one and Kansas City has 0, I don't know if they're going to win that. But these two teams have been pretty good at limiting like turnover mistakes recently. So I think Kansas City's going to win. But I don't know exactly what the score is going to. The red zone offense for Kansas City has been bad recently, so they may have to go for a couple of deep shots. The Bills offense can probably be a team that keeps up with Kansas City offensively. Except again, like you said, Andrew, I'm not sure about their run game. They're going to have to be able to pass with Kansas City, knowing that they're going to come out and pass most plays. So I actually am going to go against what you said, though. I think the Bills can drop 30 on Kansas City, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think it'll be closer than the other game, though. So I'm going to go 35-31 Kansas City.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off of what you said, too, and why I would still consider this to be, I mean, my pick wasn't relatively low scoring, but I mean relatively low scoring in terms of what we expect from these offenses at 27-21 is like you said, the Chiefs' offense has struggled in the red zone, and the Bills' offense, I mean, put up 10 points last week. So it's just, I think it's going to be a struggle, and whoever can take momentum and take advantage of short fields, I think that's going to be really key in this game. And like you said, with the turnover battle, I think You can't be giving away possessions against the Chiefs because they'll make you pay. If you get behind on the Chiefs and then you're forced to throw, that's I could see a situation where the Chiefs do blow the Bills out because they just can't keep up.
Well, both of these
things
teams'
go downhill.
defenses. I'm not saying the Bills overly have to rely on this, but both of them, to me, seem to be the big play where they give up some yards. But as long as they get that takeaway or that big stop, I think they're in good shape.
Right.
And both of those defenses seem to be made like that. So that's kind of what it boils down to for me, at least.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. That's all I got on them.
Alrighty, so looks like we got a Chiefs Packers Super Bowl going on over here, which would be the State Farm Super Bowl.
Yeah, State Farm would make a bank.
Oh yeah, and isn't that a repeat of Super Bowl I?
Yes. Remember,
yeah.
we wanted it last year for the 50th.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
Congrats to the Buccaneers and Bills. Wish you luck in the Super Bowl, man.
You're right with me, because that's what I was going to
basically.
say. Hey, let's go, Tristan. Thank you for going with that one. I'm not even mad that you took that from me. I love you, buddy.
You too.
But for real, though, the only reason that might not happen, though, is because I picked the Bills. So it's not like all three of us picked him. Like all three of us picked Kansas City. So.
And I mean, I hope not. I could secure the pick'em this week if I get both mine right.
Yeah, you do. But if I get it right, we're tied again, buddy.
Then we're in trouble.
So you want? So
I mean, hey, if I lose them both and you win one,
would you guys have to double advocate in the Super Bowl just to see who wins the pick'em?
By the way, if you want to know what it is right now, you are 176 and 94 and 1. And I am currently 175 and 95 and 1.
Jeez.
Oh, we could tie it up. You know what's funny? Is we both have the Packers win the Super Bowl, but maybe the Packers will do some dumbass shit and he'll convince himself to pick Kansas City or Buffalo. Who really knows?
Maybe.
This is why I told him when he's like, I got the dub. I'm like, no. Let's wait and see if our picks are the same. And it turns out this week.
As long as Rodgers doesn't hip thrust. As long as Rodgers doesn't hip thrust on the sideline, I think we're good.
Carson Palmer play for the Cardinals? Does Carson Palmer play for the Packers?
That hip thrust on when we played Seattle back in 2015, that shit was funny. But nah, if Aaron Rodgers hip thrust, I'm going to fucking double down on that take. Man. He's going all the way.
I think the best part, because you were mentioning that Seattle game, I don't know if it was that specific one, but there was one where I forgot who. I think it was Chris Johnson was running down the sideline or Ellington, and Drew Stanton started going apeshit on the sideline.
It was Ellington because we secured the game there, and then I remember that because Ellington was no longer the centerpiece there. He got fined for that. That was goated. Good times. So I miss being good.
They've got a Chiefs-Packers Super Bowl and a Buffalo-Packers Super Bowl. So I guess you could say it this way. Whether the Chiefs or Bills make it in it, congratulations to the Buccaneers being the guaranteed one to make it.
Yep. Honestly, it would be pretty cool to see a quarterback or a team host their own Super Bowl. And I mean, who fucking other than Tom Brady, right?
Dude, I'm telling you, the greatest storyline would be Tom Brady being the first ever quarterback to host a Super Bowl at his home stadium. It literally would be perfect. I'm not even joking. The greatest of all time gets to do it? Yep. And at that point, he would hold that to his name too. And people would find some stupid reason, right? They'd be like, oh, congrats on your Minnie Mouse way to it because you played the Washington football team and then you played a washed-up Drew Brees. Yeah. They'd find some way to clown him for
Tom Brady's Mickey Mouse.
Oh, here you go. Ready? Tom Brady's road to a Mickey Mouse Super Bowl. Beat a 7-9 team. Beat a washed-up quarterback. Got lucky against the Packers. Played against Chad Henne in the Super Bowl.
Dodged Mahomes.
Oh yeah, there you go. Plays against the Bills. Dodged Mahomes.
I mean, honestly, if that was the pathway, I'd call that a Mickey Mouse Super Bowl.
Plays against the Chiefs. Beat choker coach Andy Reid.
Bro, if one of you played against choker Andy Reid if they mismanaged the clock at the end of the Super Bowl. Dude, people would find some way to clown Tom Brady. The worst part about that...
It'd be the same way for every team, though.
The worst part about that, though, is they would say got lucky against Green Bay. I'm like, dude, if your excuse is got lucky, get out of here. Just get out of here. You don't belong in this conversation.
Played a bad Packers defense.
Oh, God.
Okay, Tristan. We got some receipts to pull up.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do.
No, that doesn't exist. It doesn't.
He quickly goes to delete some right now. Anyway,
they don't exist.
Tristan, we love having you on, bud. You're a lot of fun to talk to. Thanks
man.
for coming on, man.
Thanks. It's fun to be on.
By the way, I can tell you're getting older as a teenager. Your voice is slightly deeper than it was last time. I guess that's just. I guess it's just how teenagers. Hey, the same happens with me as a teacher. I see my students at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year, I'm like, oh, they grew up. And especially freshmen, especially my freshmen, they go from like super middle school faces to like actual teenage faces. So,
hey, if it makes you feel better, he just clowned your voice. I mean, his students ask if he's gay because of his voice. So,
God,
yeah,
most people I meet think I'm gay when I first meet them.
My students did think I was gay. I did get asked that. So, well. And for those,
I think that's where we'll end it tonight.
Yeah, for those listening, I am straight, by the way. You can follow us at You can follow us at HC Analysts. That's where the show is. You'll find us, and I'll be posting some more stuff on that this weekend. I'll get more on top of that. You can follow me, the straight math teacher at HCJC Sanders, or you can follow the hardworking warehouse crew at the school district. HC_Pardue, and if you want to follow our non-working citizen over here, Tristan, it's I had to clown you somehow. It's
working on my school grind
at RedRiverBoat.
Yeah,
cool. Got it right this time.
Andrew War coming in June.
Dude, what?
Nothing.
You begin work in June.
I said Andrew War.
Oh, true.
Oh, that's
Andrew versus Andrew.
That's probably coming around free agency, I think, is when we're going to have him.
Yeah.
And then we got another local sports news person that we're going to have on in March. We're super excited for that. So
Hype.
I know you're saying. I mean, I was excited for it, and then I told Party, I'm like, hey, I got this person on. He was like, no way. So we're going to have a local Arizona sports beat writer have on. I'm super excited about it. I'm surprised they said yes, to be honest. But, hey, as I told him, shooters shoot, ballers score, and I am a baller. So I'm glad I was able to get an actual, like, no offense to Tristan or any of the other guests we've had on here, because I love having our fun amateur guys out here who are all trying to make, sports con out there. I love us all, but someone who's actually getting paid to do it, I think is awesome. So I'm excited to have them as a guest.
I know.
We'll tell you all who they are later. We're not going to announce it now. So
yeah, we're keeping on the down low.
Yeah, we are. So that's it for us. I hope you guys all have a wonderful championship weekend. It's the best Sunday of the year. Because honestly, sometimes the Super Bowl's a banger, sometimes it's not, but usually championship weekend is a banger every time. So that's why I say it's the best Sunday of the year. If you want to disagree and say it's the Super Bowl, I totally get it. But I would say enjoy your championship Sunday. See y'all next week.